After 3 years as Billy King's executive assistant, I had finally saved up $250,000. I quit my job and went home to build a house. He called me right as the demolition crew was tearing down a wall. A loud crash echoed, and I sent Billy straight to my block list. 3 days later, I saw Billy's travel-worn face at the edge of my hometown. Dressed in a custom-tailored suit, Billy stood at the town entrance, looking a little lost as he asked passers-by, "Excuse me, do you know where Jessica Song's family lives?" The old-timer he asked just stared back, his local accent so thick that Billy, frowning, couldn't understand a single word. He finally looked relieved when he ran into a middle-aged woman, my aunt. My aunt called me. "Jess, your boss from the city is here looking for you. He's at the town entrance with a suitcase, waiting for you to pick him up." I was still supervising the construction crew, covered in dust, wearing a straw hat and my work clothes. I just hopped on my dad's electric tricycle. I honked the horn at Billy 3 times, but he completely ignored me. It wasn't until I took off my straw hat, revealing my makeup-free face, that he recognized me. He stared at me, shocked. "Jessica, why are you dressed like that?" "Please don't call me Jessica," I reiterated. "I'm not the city girl in a pantsuit and light makeup anymore. I'm just Jess now." I lowered the tailgate of the tricycle and gestured for him to get in. "Hop on." He hesitated for a moment, but finally swung his long legs over the side and stood in the cargo bed next to his $10,000 suitcase. "I'm just supposed to stand?" he asked. I pulled a small folding stool from the cargo bed and snapped it open. "You can sit on this." And that's how I ended up with Billy King, all long limbs and a pitiful expression, perched on a tiny stool in the back of my tricycle. "Hold on tight." I twisted the throttle, and the big shot CEO almost went flying out of the back. When I got Billy home, my parents greeted him politely. "Hello, you must be Jess's boss, is that right?" Billy stood up straight. Just then, the roar of a chainsaw started up behind our house. He flinched before introducing himself to my parents. "Sir, ma'am, my name is Billy King. I was Jessica's supervisor at the company." Jess, left while I was out of the office, so her resignation was never approved by me. I believe there's still room for discussion on this matter. My dad casually walked away and started whispering with my mom. "A boss, huh? I thought he was her boyfriend. So, are we still slaughtering the chicken for dinner? He's an ex-boss now. Let's just feed him something simple and send him on his way." My mom turned back, sighing with disappointment. What a shame. So handsome and tall, and already a manager, so he must be capable. Too bad he's not her boyfriend. As Billy stood in the yard, a free-range chicken strutted over, gave him a once-over, and left a fresh dropping near his leather shoe. He took a step back, and his other $10,000 shoe landed right in another pile of chicken poop. His brow furrowed, and he started discreetly trying to scrape his shoe clean on the ground. My dad and mom conferred again. Jess said she was coming home to study for a government job. If she goes back to the city, fat chance of that happening. My mom understood immediately. We have to get rid of him quickly. Then my dad put on a simple, rustic smile. "Billy, my boy. Come have some watermelon. Just pulled it from the well, it's nice and cool." My dad cornered Billy and made him eat 2 large slices of watermelon. "Sweet, isn't it?" my dad asked. Billy replied, "Very sweet." Just as I returned from the construction site behind the house, I squawked, "Dad. What are you doing? People from the city have to watch their sugar intake. Billy works out, you can't give him that." Then I grabbed the entire platter of watermelon and walked away, ignoring the longing look Billy cast at the retreating fruit. My dad scratched his head, looking embarrassed. "Well, we have to listen to her. Come on inside." As Billy walked through the door, his nearly 6'3" frame slammed into the doorframe with a loud thud. My dad laughed awkwardly. "Yeah, the doorframe's a bit low. We're building a new house, you see. The new place will have higher ceilings. Billy rubbed his head and stepped inside. He sat down nervously on our sofa, looking around at the furniture. The house was filled with quaint wooden furniture, coated in a glossy red lacquer that was worn with age. The floors were cement, but they were swept spotlessly clean. I got straight to the point. When are you leaving? Then I told him, the bus out of town leaves at 6 a.m. and noon. If you take the 6 o'clock bus and then grab a cab to the train station, you'll make it back to New York City in good time. Get up at 5:30 tomorrow. I'll give you a ride on the tricycle. Billy asked me, Jessica, aren't you coming back with me? My dad cut in. We're building a big new house. Jessica has to stay and supervise the work. She's not going back. Not ever. Billy looked at me. Jess, I don't know why you decided to quit. Can you tell me? I looked up at the ceiling. The quails are eating our corn. It's an emergency, gotta go. Then I ran outside and shooed away all the birds from the roof. The real reason I quit? Billy was taking a month-long vacation in Switzerland, and office gossip said it wasn't a vacation at all, it was to spend time with a potential bride from an arranged marriage. I had a secret crush on Billy, but I knew the gap between us was too wide. It was impossible. When a rich man pursues a poor woman, it's a timeless romance. When a poor woman pursues a rich man, it's just her not knowing her place. I had just saved up my $250,000, and I wanted to go home and build a house anyway, so I handed in my resignation. I don't know how the company processed it, but somehow, my resignation was approved without ever crossing Billy's desk, and I went home. When I came back inside, he looked at me. That day I called you, there was a loud crash, and then the line went dead. I couldn't reach you after that. I thought something had happened to you. So I got your file from HR and bought a plane ticket. I honestly couldn't understand how this brilliant man, an MIT grad with a master's from the States, couldn't figure out that he'd probably just been blocked. Then he said, Jess, did you block my number? Unblock me. Right now. I unblocked him, then went back out to the construction site. That afternoon, my parents started a fire to cook a special dinner for Billy. He came out wanting to help. My dad stopped him and asked, Billy, that suit you're wearing must be expensive, right? Could I get one for, say, $800? Billy paused. You wouldn't need that much. 500 would do it. My dad's eyes lit up. Wow, Billy. I didn't realize you were so frugal. So how much for the shoes? Billy's expression didn't change. A little over 200. My dad, while using his leg to snap a piece of firewood in half and shove it into the stove, excitedly pulled out his phone. Let's swap numbers. I'll send you $1,000, and you can get an outfit like that for me. Deal. I was completely unaware of the deal struck between Billy and my dad. By the time the workers clocked out and I came back, the table was already set with 6 dishes. There were scrambled eggs with rice noodles, stir-fried pork with green peppers, fried river fish, cucumber salad with pig ears, and the chicken they hadn't wanted to kill that morning, now sitting proudly on the table. Chicken and mushroom stew. My dad even opened a bottle of baijiu. Billy, care for a little? Dad, my boss doesn't drink, I said, trying to stop him. And you shouldn't either. Billy extended a hand. A little now and then is fine. After they'd each had a couple of shots, my dad started getting chummy. He threw an arm around Billy's shoulder. My man, you can really hold your liquor. You're a match for me. Billy insisted, you're my elder, sir, not my brother. My dad patted his shoulder. We'll stick to our own titles. I'll call you brother, and you can call me. Billy replied, Dad. My dad stared at him. Whoa, you can't just call me that. I couldn't have a son as old as you. Billy was stunned. I'm 28. Is that old? Billy turned to me. Jess, do you think I'm old? I'm 24, so Billy is 4 years older than me. My mom and I exchanged a look. "Jess, come on," she said. "Let's go make the bed for Billy." As she was making the bed, my mom asked, "Jess, you don't think your boss is interested in you, do you? I mean, you quit, and he chased you all the way out here to get you back. He probably just can't bear to lose such a good workhorse." After all, Billy and I had pulled countless all-nighters together. After spreading out the floral print bedsheet, my mom brought out a matching floral print quilt. The effect was something else. Since we didn't have a spare room, Billy had to sleep in my bedroom. Flushed from the alcohol, Billy asked, "If I sleep in your room, where will you sleep?" "I'll take the couch." "But you're a woman. Is it really okay for a man to sleep in your room? You could sleep on the couch." "No, I think I'll take the bed." He glanced around my little room. "Jess, your room smells nice. I'll send you the link for the air freshener." I pulled out the AC remote and showed him. "See? This is how you turn it on and off and adjust the temperature. Got it?" "Got it." Billy, still in his suit, sitting on my floral bedsheets, was a picture of perfect dissonance. I found a new pair of my dad's slippers for him and told him to go wash up. When he came out of the bathroom, he was wearing one of his own silk robes, but on his feet were my dad's dollar store flip-flops. His hair was soaking wet. He raised his arms to towel it dry, and as the hair lifted, it revealed his sharp brow bone. Before I could properly admire this scene straight out of a romance novel, Billy's foot slipped, and he nearly fell into my arms. He quickly straightened up, feigning nonchalance, and said, "The moon is beautiful tonight." It was an overcast night. There wasn't a single star in the sky. I went to my dad. "Dad, what kind of slippers did you buy? My boss just slipped and almost fell on top of me. They were cheap. You should have just caught him." Slipping and sliding every few steps, Billy made his way back into my room. The next morning, I woke up to find Nick in our yard. Nick was Billy's other assistant, responsible for his personal affairs as well as work. The moment I saw Nick, I knew Billy was finally going back. Nick gave me a slight nod. "Jessica. Long time no see." "It hasn't been that long. I only quit 2 weeks ago." Nick sniffed disdainfully. Then he pulled out a suit. "Sir, this is the custom suit you requested." The measurements were quite specific. 5'5", 33-inch waist. I had them working the sewing machines for hours to get this done, then I drove all night to bring it to you. Billy, who had changed into a navy blue suit, gave Nick a dark, inscrutable look. "You can go back now." Nick looked surprised. "Sir, you're not coming with me? I have things to do here." "Go back by yourself." After Nick left, Billy handed the suit to my dad, whose face lit up. "Wow, you managers are something else. So efficient. What kind of delivery service is that fast?" So Nick's whole trip was just to deliver a suit to my dad? I pulled my dad aside. "How can you accept such an expensive gift from Billy?" My dad whispered, "What are you talking about? I bought it. I sent Billy $1,000 for it. That custom suit had to be at least $15,000, and the shoes were probably a few thousand more." I was mortified into silence, unsure if I should tell my dad the truth. My gaze fell on Billy, who told me, "Don't feel burdened by it. Your father and I hit it off, so I ordered the suit for him as a gift." My dad tried on the suit, admiring himself in the mirror, and nodded with satisfaction. "I'll wear this when Jess gets married." Billy's face changed. "Sir, does Jessica have a boyfriend?" The next second, with a roar of an engine, a large truck pulled up to our house. A young man jumped out. "Dad, I brought the cement you wanted." Billy's face turned ashen. "I thought Jess was an only child." "He just called you, Dad." He pulled out his phone and called Nick. "How far have you gone? Turn around and come pick me up." When the young man, whose name was Evan, came inside, he saw Billy and asked me, "Jess, who's this?" Billy extended his hand. Hello, I'm Jessica's ex. Before Billy could finish the word boss, Evan bumped my shoulder. Wow, your ex followed you all the way home? Nice. Seeing how close Evan and I were, Billy gritted his teeth and finished his sentence, boss. Evan breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, a boss. As a boss, you really shouldn't get too involved in your employees' personal lives. My mom just smiled and poured Evan a glass of water. My dad, also smiling, explained, this is my godson. 1 year he fell in the river, and I pulled him out. So he adopted me as his godfather. Billy lowered his voice, speaking into the phone, Nick, never mind, don't come back. Something's come up again. Get some rest. The company will reimburse you for travel and expenses. Gotta go. Evan asked me, what's your boss doing at your house? Trying to win me back. Evan's eyes widened, darting between me and Billy. Then I delivered the second half of the sentence, to get me to come back to work. Evan looked relieved. He whispered in my ear, I got you the stuff you wanted. It's in the truck. I'll sneak it to you later. Watching our intimate exchange, Billy secretly clenched his fists. Then, all the cement bags on Evan's truck needed to be unloaded. My dad changed out of his new suit and went out with Evan to start unloading. Billy followed right behind them. Sir, I'll help you with the cement. He was still wearing his navy blue suit. My dad waved him off. Your clothes are expensive. Don't get them dirty. Billy insisted, it's fine. My dad asked him, don't you have any other, more casual clothes? No. I tried to talk him out of it. Billy, you're used to sitting in an office all day. Don't overdo it. Billy was stubborn. I can do it. I had a feeling Billy and Evan were secretly competing. Evan was wearing a black tank top, cargo pants, and work boots. His exposed shoulders looked powerful. Billy looked at him. You work out? I go to the gym regularly, too. I have muscles, you know. Evan replied, I just move a lot of heavy stuff. It builds up. With a bag of cement on his shoulder, Billy asked my dad, what university did Evan graduate from? My dad thought for a moment before Evan answered himself, my school's not as good as Jess's. I graduated from UCLA. UCLA was still a top-tier public university in the state. My dad said, oh, right. Billy looked at him, slightly puzzled. So what do you do for work now? My dad explained, Evan came back home to start a business after college. He runs a farm and a little BB. His family also owns a shipping company, dozens of big trucks. I asked him to help me buy the cement. Billy's brow furrowed. He asked my dad, is Evan seeing anyone right now? My dad looked at Evan. I don't think so. Right? Evan looked at me. I don't have a girlfriend right now. I stood to the side. Billy, I think your curiosity is getting a little out of hand. Do I need to remind you that Evan likes women? He doesn't like men. Billy looked at me. That's exactly why I'm asking. Evan glanced up at Billy. I was confused. Could Billy possibly like me? I quickly dismissed the thought. If Billy really liked me, there's no way I wouldn't have noticed after working together for 3 years. He was probably so concerned about Evan because he was afraid that if I got together with him, I'd never go back to New York. And then he'd lose his best workhorse. It all made sense. By the time they finished unloading the cement, Billy's suit was covered in dust. I took out a pack of tissues and handed a few to Billy. He wiped the sweat from his forehead. Then I pulled out a few more and gave them to Evan. Evan took them, his gaze drifting over to Billy. Evan had paid for the cement up front. While my dad went inside to get cash, Evan handed me a bag of snacks from his truck. It was a huge bag. How much was this? I'll send you the money, I said. The small supermarket in our town didn't have a great snack selection, and since Evan was going into the city, I'd asked him to pick some up for me. My stomach just doesn't feel right if I don't have a little junk food every day. If my dad saw it, he'd eat most of it, and his doctor told him to avoid that stuff because of his high blood pressure and cholesterol. Evan just smiled breezily. It's nothing. It's a gift. No way, I'm paying you back. Come on, stop making a fuss. Dad will see. Just treat me to dinner next time. Okay. I hid the snacks in my room. My dad came out with the cash and handed it to Evan. Evan, your mom's about to have breakfast ready. Why don't you eat with us before you go? Evan raised an eyebrow at Billy. Sure. My dad, huh? My dad was just being polite. He didn't expect Evan to actually agree. Luckily, we always cooked way too much food. For breakfast, we had big pork and wood ear mushroom buns, millet porridge, and 2 side dishes, celery with boiled peanuts and leftover chicken stew from yesterday, reheated. Billy had taken off his dirty jacket and was just in his white shirt and suit pants. He naturally sat down to my left. Not to be outdone, Evan sat down to my right. I handed a bun to Billy. Evan asked me, Jess, why didn't you get one for me? I looked at him. Evan, do you not have hands? Can't you get one yourself? Billy's table manners were impeccable. Even eating a big, doughy bun, he looked like he was dining at a 5-star restaurant. Evan, on the other hand, attacked his food, downing a bun in just a few bites. Evan asked me, does your boss have a girlfriend? I looked at Billy. He didn't have one before, but after a month in Switzerland, I had no idea. No, I don't have a girlfriend right now. As Billy explained, his eyes were fixed on me. Billy didn't have a girlfriend? He didn't get together with the arranged marriage prospect? What about that woman in Switzerland you were supposed to marry? I asked. Evan stuffed a bun in his mouth. At your age, you better get a move on. You know how it is. A man's basically 60 after 25. Not like me, I'm only 24. Billy looked like he was about to have a breakdown. He asked me, Jess, do I really look old? I forced myself to answer, you look fine. Evan added, well, managers are usually older. Billy said, Jess, I work out. I'm in great shape. In reality, Billy had one of those ageless faces. His skin was fair, and he wouldn't have looked out of place on a college campus. After finishing his meal, Evan wiped his mouth clean. Dad, Mom, I've got to get back to work. I'll come see you again soon. My dad smiled. All right. My dad called to me, Jess, go walk Evan out. Okay. I followed Evan, and Billy followed me. Evan asked Billy, Dad asked Jess to walk me out. What are you following us for? Billy replied, enjoying the scenery. Evan snorted, climbed into his big truck, and waved at me. Jess, I'm heading out. On my way back to the house, Billy trailed behind me. I asked him, weren't you going to look at the scenery? I've seen enough. The construction workers had mostly arrived at the building site behind my house. I went to check on things, and when I came back, Billy was asking my dad a question. Sir, is there anywhere around here to buy clothes? Or a dry cleaner? A dry cleaner? We don't have those in the village. A place to buy clothes? Have Jess take you to the flea market. I pulled my dad aside and whispered, are you crazy, Dad? You want me to take Billy to a flea market to buy clothes? Do you have any idea how much he usually spends on one outfit? My dad was unfazed. Billy's suit was only $500. You can tell he's a practical guy. What's wrong with buying a few things at the market? My dad handed me $50. Billy and I get along great. This is on me. Buy him a few nice things. Make sure he looks like a handsome young man. I took the 50. Billy looked at me and asked, are we taking the tricycle to the market? Do you know how to ride an e-scooter? I asked him. He answered honestly, no. We're not taking the tricycle. We're taking the e-scooter. I'll drive. Billy, all long limbs and still wearing his navy blue suit pants, sat on the back of my e-scooter, looking incredibly out of place. When we got to the market, he immediately drew stares. After all, most people don't wear suits to a flea market. I led him straight to the clothing stalls. I picked out 3 t-shirts for him. This one, and this one. Can I get a closer look? One of the black t-shirts had a Dior logo on it. Billy pointed at the knockoff and asked the woman running the stall. How much is this one? The woman beamed. Young man, you've got a great eye. Everything I sell here is brand name. One price, $20. I asked Billy, you like this one? Yeah. I immediately shot back, $10. Take it or leave it. The woman didn't back down. Oh, honey, my cost is $15. I can't do 10. I grabbed Billy's arm and pretended to walk away. He looked confused. Is $20 expensive? I mumbled under my breath, you're exactly the kind of sucker they love to rip off. Seeing that we were actually leaving, the woman finally caved. Fine, $10. Just for this one. I like the kid, so I'm selling it to you at a loss. I pulled Billy back to the stall, and we snagged the fake Dior t-shirt for a cool $10. The other shirts were also $10 each. When we were looking for pants, the woman sized up Billy's legs. My, such long legs on such a handsome young man. You're a lucky girl. I asked her, do you have anything that would fit someone his height? Of course. The woman pulled out her prized 6XL pants. These should be perfect. The length is right, and they have a drawstring, so they won't fall down. He'll look sharp as a tack in these, a real knockout. I bought Billy 3 pairs of pants and the t-shirts, for a grand total of $40. I took out the cash my dad gave me, stopping Billy's hand as he reached for his wallet. Your uncle said you two hit it off and wanted to buy you a few outfits. The stall owner made a proposition to Billy. Hey, handsome, I'll throw in a pair of socks if you film a TikTok with me. You're so good looking. And you two make such a cute couple. Billy was about to refuse, but then he changed his mind and agreed. I explained to the woman, ma'am, he's not my boyfriend. Her eyes darted between us. Ah, I get it. Well, young man, you better step up your game. Billy replied, I will. I'll do my best. My eyes fell on Billy. He was going to pursue me. I crossed my arms and watched as the multi-billionaire CEO filmed a TikTok with the stall owner. Check out this handsome guy who stopped by my stall today, she narrated. Isn't he a dreamboat? Then some ridiculously over-the-top pop song started playing from her phone. I glanced at her screen and saw she had the face slimming and big eye filters cranked to the max. With the pinkish filter, Billy looked like an alien. I burst out laughing. After we finished shopping, I was ready to head home, but he stopped me. Jess, well, He looked like he was struggling to find the words. I thought I'd be going back soon, so I didn't pack many pairs of underwear. I got it. I went back to another stall and spent $5 on 3 pairs of underwear for Billy. It must have been Billy's first time at a flea market. Everything seemed new and exciting to him. He asked me, aren't bananas supposed to be like $10 a pound? Why are they 50 cents here? Billy went on a buying spree. All kinds of fruits, pastries, buy. In the end, we were both carrying 2 huge bags of stuff. A smile played on his lips as he said happily, I feel like I'm getting a lot done with just a little bit of money. I grinned back. A whole shopping spree, and your wallet only has a few scratches, right? Yeah. On the way back, with Billy still on the back of my e-scooter, I asked him, want to take the road by the river? There are flowers. It's really pretty. Okay. I drove us to the river, where there was a small wetland park filled with clusters of little yellow flowers. They trembled slightly in the breeze. Sitting behind me, Billy said, "Jess, I have something to tell you." I turned my head to look at him. "What?" The moment I stopped the scooter, one of the bags broke, and the melons inside went rolling all over the ground. I rushed to park the scooter and pick them up. When I looked up at him again, I asked, "What were you saying?" He wouldn't say it again. "Nothing." I took Billy home. As soon as we got back, he took a phone call. "Dad." I pictured the chairman's face. He actually looked a lot like Billy, still a handsome older man, even in his 50s. He must have been the one who approved my resignation. "Dad, I think you should respect my choices. The point of making money is to have more choices, not just to make more money. I'm not coming back for now." It was his private conversation, so I didn't keep listening. Instead, I threw all the new clothes we bought into the washing machine. A little while later, they were done, and I hung them on the line to dry. The weather was hot, so clothes dried in no time. By the time Billy finished his call, the clothes were nearly dry. I told him, "The clothes are pretty much dry. You can go try them on." Billy took the clothes into the room. When he came out, he was wearing the fake Dior shirt and a pair of black pants. But with Billy's face and physique, even a knockoff brand looked real on him, accentuating his broad shoulders and long legs. If it weren't impolite, I would have whistled. That afternoon, my dad asked me, "Jess, when is your boss planning on leaving? He even bought new clothes. Is he planning on moving in? That boss of yours. He doesn't have a thing for you, does he?" I told my dad, "Don't be ridiculous. He's probably just fighting with his family. He'll be gone in a few days." That night, Billy slept in my bed again. I had bought him a new pair of slippers, so there was no more slipping and sliding. In the middle of the night, Billy knocked on my window. I woke up and came out in my pajamas. "What's wrong?" The moonlight was bright, and Billy's expression was impossible to read. He looked at me, hesitating, before finally forcing out the words, "I think I'm having an allergic reaction to my underwear. It's really itchy." My eyes briefly flickered down, and I realized he was rather well endowed. I quickly looked away. "Nothing to see here." Billy looked mortified. I threw on a jacket, zipped it up, and grabbed my phone. "Come on, I'm taking you to a doctor." The roads were empty at night, filled only with the chirping of insects, but thankfully the streetlights were bright. He sat on the back of my e-scooter again, silent. Then he asked, "Can I hold on to your waist?" During the day, Billy had sat on the back with his hands placed primly, not touching me at all. He must have been really uncomfortable. "Okay." He gently wrapped his arms around my waist. "You're not going commando right now, are you?" I asked. His body tensed, and his voice was muffled. "No." At the local clinic, after he described his symptoms, I saw the doctor trying to suppress a laugh as he solemnly wrote 4 words on the diagnosis sheet: underwear allergy. Billy sat on the waiting room bench with an 4 in his arm. I went to get him a cup of hot water. When I came back, he was sitting with his eyes closed. His hair wasn't perfectly styled like usual but fell messily across his forehead. He looked almost tame. I walked over and handed him the paper cup. He took it, and I asked, "Feeling any better?" His eyes were still red as he looked up at me. He seemed so gentle. "Much better." He held the cup with one hand and took a small sip. "Jess, thank you for putting up with me, coming out this late at night." I sat down next to him. "It's no problem." I was so tired my head started to nod off. He used his free hand to guide my head onto his shoulder and said softly, "You can rest here." It was past 1 a.m. when the nurse came to remove the 4. "Ma'am, wake up," she said, tapping my shoulder. I woke up with a jolt, and as I turned my head, my lips brushed against Billy's cheek. Our faces were incredibly close. He looked down at me, and as our eyes met, his gaze held mine. I could see how long his eyelashes were, how high the bridge of his nose was. Then my eyes drifted to his lips. They were so red. I wondered what they would feel like to kiss. My heart suddenly started pounding, and I quickly looked away, flustered. I paid the bill, and we walked out of the clinic in silence. I got the scooter, glanced up at the moon, a bright, silver hook in the sky. Billy stood behind me, hands in his pockets, the wind blowing through his hair. He started to speak. I said, you. In the end, neither of us could say anything. Let's go home, I said, breaking the silence. His Adam's apple bobbed. Yeah, let's go. It was almost 2 a.m. by the time we got back. I fell asleep the second my head hit the pillow. When I woke up the next morning, Billy was already awake, wearing a new white t-shirt that made him look even younger. I glanced down and asked, "Are you all better now?" "All better." I pressed, "It won't affect your function, will it? Should we go to a bigger hospital?" Billy gritted his teeth. "It won't." Then he asked, "Where are those snacks Evan bought you? Do you want some?" I asked. As far as I could remember, Billy never ate junk food. But since he asked, I brought the whole bag to him. And then I watched as Billy sat on the little folding stool, gritting his teeth, and tore open every single bag of snacks, dumping them into the chicken feed trough. The chickens clucked happily, feasting away. As for me, feeling guilty for my earlier misstep, I could only watch in silent fury as Billy fed my snacks to the chickens. That demon even opened the spicy chicken feet and fed them to the chickens. Oh, the humanity. I could have cried. Evan called me. "Jess, you said you'd treat me to dinner. How about tomorrow? I'm free. I can drive over and pick you up." "Okay." Billy overheard every word. He stood up and asked me, "Jessica Song, do you know what tomorrow is?" I was confused. "What's tomorrow?" "Tomorrow is the Valentine Day." "So what?" "He probably just happens to be free that day." I didn't think much of it. My relationship with Evan felt more like family. A man and a woman, going out to dinner on Valentine Day. "Is that a date?" "I have to come with you." I was dumbfounded. Billy looked at me, completely serious. "Jessica, I have something to tell you tomorrow." For the first time in a long time, I couldn't sleep. Billy's face kept replaying in my mind, along with his words. "Jessica, I have something to tell you tomorrow." What on earth was Billy going to say to me on Valentine Day? Was he going to confess his feelings? Did he actually like me? I shot up from the couch, feeling like I had just uncovered some earth-shattering secret. The next morning, I did my makeup, put my hair up, and wore a white dress. Billy forbade me from getting a ride with Evan, so I had to call and tell him not to pick me up. I could tell Billy had put in extra effort, too. He was wearing a white suit and had even put on cologne. He looked great, but I had to ask, "Aren't you hot?" "Nope." My suspicions grew stronger. When he came out in the suit, my dad whispered to me, "Is he going to a groundbreaking ceremony or something?" "No." He was going to take the public bus with me into the city to go on a date with Evan. Billy sat next to me on the bus, and all the grandmas and grandpas stared at him, but he was completely oblivious. CEOs, man. Nerves of steel. When we got off across from the biggest shopping mall in the county, I saw Evan. I realized Evan had also dressed up. He had even gotten a fresh fade. He wasn't wearing his usual black tank top either. Instead, he had on a loose-fitting white button-down, light-washed jeans, and sneakers. When he saw me, Evan smiled and waved. He was holding a box in his other hand. Billy and I crossed the street to meet him. Evan looked at me. "Jess, you look beautiful today." The moment he saw Billy, Evan's face fell. That's when I saw that he was holding a cake box. "Why isn't he back at work yet?" Evan asked me. "What's he doing here?" "He just happened to be passing by, right?" Evan sized Billy up. Does he have a gig as a wedding MC today or something? What's with the outfit? Billy looked baffled. This is how I normally dress. Is there a problem? He added, I'm here to join you. Evan took us to a Western restaurant. The seating arrangement became Billy next to me and Evan across from me. The table next to us was probably on a blind date. The woman's mother looked over at our table and gasped. My, girls these days are so efficient. 2 blind dates at once. Evan took the cake out of the box. It was shaped like a little dog. He must have ordered a set menu, because after the food arrived, soft music began to play in the restaurant. It was a holiday, so the restaurant had hired a live band. I was craning my neck to watch the band when Evan called my name. Jess. I turned back. He had cut me a slice of cake. With a solemn expression, he said, I've thought about this for a long time. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've always liked you. I asked you out today because I wanted to confess. Jess, I've liked you for a long time. Will you be my girlfriend? Or at least give me a chance to win you over? Before I could say a word, Billy spoke up. No. A look of faint annoyance crossed Evan's face. What's it to you? Billy looked at me. Jessica, you're not going to say yes to him, are you? I looked at Evan, genuinely surprised. I had no idea he felt that way about me. But I really couldn't say yes. I'm sorry, I can't. I already have someone I like. Billy gloated, did you hear that? She doesn't like you. She already has someone she likes. Then Billy froze. You have someone you like? Who do you like? You. Is he the reason you quit your job? I looked at him. Yes. I decided to just throw caution to the wind and confess everything to Billy. Billy. I began. Billy cut me off, looking nervous. Jessica, I have something to tell you, too. I went to Switzerland to be with my grandfather, who's recovering there. My dad arranged a marriage prospect, but I turned her down. My dad knew I liked you, which is why your resignation was approved without my knowledge. I originally thought I could just convince you to come back to work, and we could slowly build a relationship. But I don't want to wait anymore. Jessica, I like you. Our eyes met. Billy asked cautiously, could you stop liking that other person, and maybe try liking me instead? Evan sat there, stunned. Evan said, Jess, we've known each other forever. Can you just forget that other guy, and don't like Billy either, and maybe try liking me instead? Billy reassured me, you don't have to answer me right away. I'll give you plenty of time to think. I looked at Evan. Evan, I'm so sorry. Billy looked at me. Are you going to say you're sorry to me, too? Evan looked at Billy. Are you an idiot? She likes you. Good news, you're both in love. Evan was having a meltdown. He looked at Billy. So that's why you were dressed to the nines today. This was premeditated. I booked the restaurant, I bought the cake, and now you're the one making a grand confession. There's actually a ring in that cake. Should I fish it out now so you can put it on her finger? Evan looked like he was about to cry. He slumped in his seat like a sad husky. I tried to comfort him. I said I was treating you to dinner, right? I'll pay for this. He shoved a piece of steak in his mouth, his face crumpled, and he started to sob. Is this really about who's paying? Evan wailed. The woman at the next table looked at him with certainty. Looks like the guy in the white suit won. Evan looked at us. I have something urgent to take care of. I'm leaving. Billy tried to console him. Don't worry, I'll pay for the meal. Evan looked like he wanted to say more. I used a coupon. It's already paid for. Billy said, I'll transfer you the money. Evan, don't bother. None of us ate much. Billy found the ring in the cake. After we washed it off, I told Billy, when we see him in a few days, we'll give the ring back. On our way out, we passed a supermarket. Billy grabbed my arm. Let's go in. You said you wanted snacks. Billy pushed the cart, grabbing anything and everything expensive. He wasn't looking for what was good, just what cost the most. He filled the entire cart. At checkout, the total was over $1,000. When I pulled out my phone to pay, Billy held up his. I'm pursuing you. So I'm buying these for you. Billy paid for everything. We walked out with 2 big bags of snacks. I kept looking at him, wanting to say something. He turned his head and asked me, "What's wrong?" About your underwear allergy. Since we're in town, we should find a store and get you a few new pairs. Billy asked me, "Do they have Calvin Klein here?" I told him. They have Target. At least cotton underwear was easy to find. We went into a store. The saleswoman asked me, "Oh, buying underwear for your boyfriend? What size does he wear?" I was so embarrassed. I turned to Billy. "What size do you wear?" The ones from the market were one size fits all. And Billy hadn't been standing next to me then. The woman looked at us, amused. Just started dating? This young man is quite the looker. Honey, you better hold on tight to this one. Billy walked over and glanced at the options. This size should work. 3 pairs. Billy paid, and we practically fled the store. Since the clothing stores in town were better stocked, Billy bought a few more outfits. Then, Billy asked me, "Where can I buy face masks?" I was confused. "You want to buy face masks?" Billy said with a serious face, "I think men need to take care of their skin, too." We bought some face masks and went to take the bus home. At the edge of town, we stood at the back of the line, watching a crowd of people push their way onto the bus. In the end, we couldn't compete with the grandmas and grandpas. We were left standing on the side of the road with our bags, staring at each other. I had no idea so many people would be taking the bus on Valentine Day, I said. Billy suggested, "Why don't we get a room here for the night and go back tomorrow morning?" I told him, "Billy King, I am not that kind of woman." He explained, "We'll get 2 rooms." Fine. We stood on the sidewalk, scrolling through hotel apps for a while, only to find that every single place was fully booked. Then we heard a rumbling noise, and I saw my uncle. My uncle pulled over in his tractor and asked, "Jess, there are no more buses. Want me to give you a lift back?" "Yes." I looked at Billy. "Get in." My uncle looked at Billy warmly. "You must be Jess's boss, right?" "I'm her uncle. I've heard about you from her aunt." Billy said, "Hello, sir." We put our things in the cargo bed, and then Billy, in his white suit, squatted down in the back. He looked impossibly out of place. With a roar, my uncle took off in his tractor. Billy's phone lit up, and he answered it. The chairman's voice boomed through the phone. "Billy King, when are you getting your ass back here?" "What is that noise in the background?" "It's so loud." Billy explained, "Dad, as soon as I win over your daughter-in-law, I'll be back." The chairman was getting agitated. "What?" "I can't hear you." Billy told him, "Dad, since you can't hear me, I'm just going to hang up." Billy ended the call. By the time we got home, it was already dark. Alex called Billy. "Sir, the chairman asked me to contact you and tell you to come back to work." "Sir, if I may be so bold, while Jessica is an excellent employee, she's not irreplaceable. I believe we can recruit a more suitable assistant." Billy scoffed. "Alex, do you really think I'm just trying to get an assistant back?" "Sometimes, I honestly think you're an idiot." A little while later, a new post popped up on my social media feed. "Hey everyone, here's the situation. A colleague and I have similar jobs, but I have a slightly higher rank. I swear I've never gone out of my way to make things difficult for her. But now it looks like she might become my boss's wife. What should I do to get out of this mess?" I replied to his post, "Castrate yourself." I followed Alex's social media account. He posted almost daily about his life as the CEO's assistant, but he had zero online savvy. After a year, he only had 123 followers. 2 of them were my main and backup accounts. 8 others were colleagues I had roped into following him. Alex replied to my comment, "Would that really work?" I let out a cold laugh and closed the app. We had a simple dinner. That evening, Billy asked me, "Jess, are you willing to come back to work?" To be honest, while the pay cut from staying home was one thing, my parents' constant nagging was getting on my nerves. I nodded. "Yeah, I'll go back with you in a few days." The moonlight was bright, rustling a cluster of flowers by my door. The sound of crickets filled the air. Billy asked me, "Jess, earlier today, Evan said you liked me. Is that true? Will you be my girlfriend?" Yes. I knew the real-world gap between Billy and me was huge, but when this incredible opportunity fell into my lap, there was no way I wasn't going to take it. I don't know when I started to like Billy. Maybe it was during all those late nights working together, or the way he patiently helped me solve problems. By the time I realized it, I had already liked him for a very long time. Even if we could only be together for a few months, so what? The journey is more important than the destination. Billy slowly leaned in. My heart pounded like a drum. We instinctively wrapped our arms around each other, and then his lips met mine. His lips were just as soft as I had imagined. We were kissing by my front door when my dad came out. "Jess, what are you two doing out here?" Before Billy and I could separate, my dad muttered to himself, "Oh, dear. I think I've suddenly gone blind. What's happening?" Then he slammed the door shut and yelled to my mom, "Honey, whatever you do, don't come outside." I couldn't help but laugh. Then Billy pulled me close again and kissed me. The evening breeze, the streetlight, and 2 people in love. The next morning, my dad asked me, "So, you and Billy are a thing now?" "Yeah." My dad had an "I knew it" expression on his face. Then he asked, "Are you still going back to New York?" "Yes." My dad sighed and shook his head. A grown daughter can't be kept at home. "Go on, then." We had just finished breakfast when we stepped outside and saw the chairman. Alex was standing beside him. "Mr. King, this is the Song family's home. I'm confident that once you step in, you'll be able to break them up for good." I got nervous. Was the chairman here to tear us apart? Was my relationship with Billy only going to last a single day? The chairman was dressed in a suit. I finally understood where Billy got his love for suits. Billy and I stood at the door. I greeted him, "Good morning, Mr. King." The chairman looked at me and gave a slight nod. "You must be Jessica Song?" "Yes, sir." Billy looked surprised. "Dad, what are you doing here?" The chairman wore a serious expression. "You don't need to get a family registry to get married anymore. If I didn't come now, I was afraid you'd already have the marriage license." Billy stood in front of me protectively. "Dad, Jess has already agreed to be my girlfriend. We're in love. You can't just break us up. I'm not going through with any arranged marriage. I've already made it clear to the woman in question that it's impossible between us. I'm 28 years old, and I'm finally in my first real relationship. If you try to stop us, I don't mind staying single forever." The chairman looked at him, then at me. He seemed a little nervous, too. "I came to see what kind of girlfriend you found for yourself. I never said I was going to break you up. This Jess. She reminds me a bit of your mother when she was young." I felt a connection the moment I saw her. My dad, wearing a straw hat and holding a fishing net, looked completely oblivious to the drama. "Jess," he said excitedly, "wanna go catch some fish?" The chairman was surprised to see my dad. "Where are you going fishing?" he asked. "It just rained. The river's full of fish." Then my dad asked him, "And you are?" Billy quickly introduced them. "Sir, this is my father." Then to the chairman, "Dad, this is Jessica's father." The chairman immediately asked, "Can you take me with you? I used to go fishing all the time when I was working in the countryside years ago. I haven't been in decades. I kind of miss it." Alex was practically stomping his feet in frustration beside him. "Mr. King, please don't forget why we came here. Fishing first." My dad hesitated. "You're going to wear that? Do you have any other clothes?" "No." "Why don't you wear some of my clothes? We're about the same size," my dad offered. "All right." When the chairman came out, he was wearing a striped polo shirt, black shorts, and a pair of blue flip-flops. Clothes really do make the man. He now looked like a regular old guy from the countryside. My dad asked me and Billy, "Are you two coming?" We both shook our heads. My dad put an arm around the chairman. When the kids are in love, what's the point of us parents interfering? My daughter is the most filial girl you'll ever meet. With Billy dating my daughter, you can just sit back and enjoy your golden years." I called out to my dad, "Dad, he's a multi-billionaire. The gap between us is huge." My dad waved his hand dismissively. "So what if he's a billionaire? Billionaires still have to eat, drink, and sleep. I think my daughter is the best, period." The chairman gave my dad a satisfied look. He issued an order, "Alex, you're coming with us." Alex, still in his suit, asked, "Are there any clothes I can change into?" My dad clicked his tongue. "Nope." The chairman gave him his assignment. "You just wait on the bank. When we catch some fish, you come and get them." Less than half an hour later, my aunt pulled up to our house on her e-scooter. "Jess, your dad has really made it. I saw him down by the river, fishing with some old guy, and there was a young man in a suit there to collect the fish for them. Having you for a daughter has really changed his life." It was over 2 hours before the chairman and my dad came back, carrying a bucket. The chairman was also holding a half-eaten peach. When he got to me, he asked, "Jessica, you're building a house, right? Tell me about it." So there I was, with Billy and my dad, giving the chairman a tour of the construction site. I felt like I was giving a work presentation. The house has a footprint of over 2,000 square feet, with a planned interior area of around 3,200 square feet upon completion. My dad was bursting with pride. Jess earned all the money for this herself, from her job. The chairman leaned in close to Billy and whispered, "The Song family has good values. I really like this father of hers. After you two get married, which room do I get?" Billy looked at his father. "Dad, don't you think you switched sides a little too quickly?" The chairman leaned in closer. "You're already 28. Can you give me a grandchild by next year?" With his hands behind his back, the chairman left the construction site, looking thoroughly pleased. Only Alex was miserable. He had fallen into the river in his suit. He gritted his teeth. This suit cost over $1,000. I patted his shoulder. "It gets worse. Your subordinate is about to become your boss's wife." That afternoon, we ate the fish the chairman had caught. He held a glass of liquor, and after 2 shots, his face was flushed. I finally understood why Billy couldn't handle his liquor. It was genetic. After drinking, the chairman threw his arms around my dad, slurring his words. "My dear friend, when should we settle the kids' engagement?" My dad, also drunk, turned red. "Settle it. Let's settle it right now." Billy and I just looked at each other and shared a helpless smile. Before I left New York, I had given up my rented apartment, so I had to find a new place to live. Billy asked me, "Jessica, you're not going to live with me? Why do you need to rent an apartment?" "So, are we still slaughtering the chicken?" "Basically," Billy said, "why don't we just go get the marriage license?" In the end, I moved into Billy's massive apartment. He took the master bedroom, and I took the guest room. Then he told me with a straight face, "The lock on the master bedroom is broken. I can't get in. The bed in the guest room is a bit small, but if we squeeze, we can both fit. I have to admit, I'm not as conservative as I pretend to be. Especially after seeing Billy in his deep V-neck robe, which revealed his well-defined, gym-toned chest. I felt even less conservative. I practically wanted to turn into a wolf. I started my investigation. Are you sure that allergic reaction didn't have any lasting effects? Let me see. Let me just check. Billy gritted his teeth. You'll know once you try it. I tried it. It worked very well. It was very durable. So much so that we were both late for work the next day. But I wasn't the old Jessica anymore. I wasn't afraid of Billy docking my pay. Even if he did, so what? It was just moving money around within the family. We walked into the office together. Alex respectfully brewed a cup of coffee for Billy. A moment later, a cup of coffee appeared on my desk, too. Jessica, I saw you were late today. Did you stay up too late last night? I made this coffee especially for you. Alex, what a survivor. He really knew how to adapt. 3 months later, at my wedding with Billy, Alex cried tears of relief. Mr. King, Jess, congratulations on your marriage. He had finally convinced the chairman to let him become his personal assistant, so he no longer had to worry about me making his life difficult. My dad, wearing the suit Billy had bought for him, was sobbing his eyes out. I had mailed the ring back to Evan. He didn't come to the wedding, but he sent a $3,000 cash gift. Evan texted, "Congratulations on your wedding. Next time, I won't hesitate for so long." That night, Billy and I were in bed counting our cash gifts. I saw a new notification on my social media feed. Alex had posted, day 1 as the chairman's assistant. A comment below read, "Nice, you got promoted." After counting the money, I was giddy with joy. Billy hugged me. "Honey, let's go to sleep."